Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we have War 8 of Season 23 and we are up against the fellas over in 4 Loki. I am on my usual Path 7 this war in Section 1. I threw on a few small boosts. I did speed up the first fight because it's just a blade. It takes a little longer than most fights, especially since he's bugged right now, so you can't drain his power by hitting his block. But yeah, it's just a standard fight. Bait SB1, don't push him to SB2. Easy game, easy life. Not quite sure why I threw the SB3 here. He still had the indestructible on. I could have parried him once, give him a little bit of power, drained it, and then continued the fight. But it didn't really matter in the end. Moving on to my next fight, I have a Morning Star, and I'm only going to gain power when she throws a special. So the plan is to only bait SB1s, try to trigger decks as little as possible so I don't feed into Mystic Dispersion, and then just throw my special 3s. Up next I have this thing on Footloose and Kinetic Transference, so obviously I throw on a few small boosts and go into this fight with Stealth Spidey's Web Foam pre-fight. And then I did throw on a Power Start 1, just so that I can get to my SB2 faster and get that longer slow debuff on. Now, this fight isn't really too hard. You basically just want to get your slow debuff on as fast as you can, start baiting specials, and then as soon as you get to an SP2, launch it, just to get that elongated slow on, and after that, the fight is pretty much won. The biggest thing though is to just not get cornered. But if Thing is playing nice and throwing his specials, then you have nothing to worry about. I think the biggest pain in the butt is just taking block damage from having to remove the indestructible buff from Stubborn. You'll notice that for the first like 30 seconds of the fight, I wasn't doing any damage because he had an indestructible buff up, but that was just because I was trying to get the elongated slow on him. But as you can see, once I have my damage going, like he's just melting. And right here, I go ahead and give a shout out to Karate Mike with Stealth is Bad. And one of my BG mates was a little confused and was like, "Don't you mean really good?" But anyways, we move on to this Void on the Ebb and Flow Intercept. I personally really hate fighting Void in war. I find that if you screw up, the damage from his debuffs just melt you. So I'm going to play this fight a little slow. I do try in the beginning to get cheeky intercept just to, you know, speed up the process and boost my damage, but he wasn't playing ball, so I just start playing this fight normal, go for smaller combos just to make sure that I can remove his debuffs as soon as they get put on me. And you'll see a little later that one of them sticks to me and it takes almost 30% of my health, which is insane. Just insane. Right here I go ahead and throw my SP2 to get the longer duration on the flashbang and get my Fury buff up. Gonna bait out a special 2, and I believe right after I get a nice intercept to increase my damage output from the node. And you can see once I have that second Fury buff from the node, he starts taking a lot of damage. Right here I go ahead and reapply my flashbang, knowing full well that once the ebb and flow timer comes back, it's gonna go away. And then you'll notice right here I have a debuff on me, and it took away solid 20% before I could get rid of it. And I wasn't sure if this SP3 would kill him or not, but turns out that it did. Fighting Void isn't necessarily difficult, it's just those debuffs that do so much damage to you. Anyways, moving on to my final fight of the war, I have a Thor Ragnarok on Ebb and Flow Intercept and Redoubled Determination. This is not a difficult fight. I believe I was contemplating putting on an invuln just in case, or maybe another power start boost, but I decided not to. And you're gonna see right at the beginning of the fight, I guess my parry just didn't activate, or I was a little too slow and I took 3 hits to the face, which is always a nice touch. But anyways, the the strategy for this is basically build up to an SP3 by parry heavy, bait his specials, and then once I have an SP3, gonna go ahead and do a little trick that I learned from Vega, who learned from B. Manny, the leader of 4 Loki, which is to start charging your heavy, let him attack into you. That'll trigger the ebb and flow intercept, and you'll be able to do massive damage with your special 3. The problem I had was I tried to do it when he had a bar of power at the beginning, and you'll see I got hit 2 more times from his special. I just had to wait for the unstoppable timer to come back, and then I went ahead and launched it with my SP3. And this is gonna kill him, because Thor is metal and Magneto's a god. Anyways, that'll do it for this war. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.